This is AP Lit, and this is a brief review of the first 7 chapters in the book. For anybody that wasn't here today, the book, The House of the Seven Gables, we discussed the major themes in the book and the events that take place. For instance, things like how did Colonel Pynchon gain possession of the land owned by Matthew Mall? And he did so by calling him a witch, and he was hung or hanged, and then he was able to get the land. How did Matthew Mall curse the colonel? And he did that by telling him that he would have, and his family would have, blood to drink. Third, describe the death of Colonel Pynchon, almost as if the curse were fulfilled. He was found in his room with blood on his face, an open window, and dead. Who is Hepzibah Pynchon? She is the cousin of Judge Pynchon. She is the current resident of the House of Seven Gables, and she has to open up a shop because she's poor, and she has to open up a room in her house to sell things to people. The daguerreotypist is Holgrave. Holgrave is the only other tenant of the house, and he's very encouraging to Hepzibah. Phoebe is a distant cousin of Hepzibah, who in chapter 3 or 4 comes to live at the House of Seven Gables with Hepzibah. Clifford is Hepzibah's brother, who spent 30 years in jail because he was wrongly accused of murder. The colonel's picture, the original Colonel Pynchon, is hanging in the house. The legend of Mall's well is that it went brackish. The water became undrinkable after the curse was placed on them. And then finally, what is the hope that they will be fabulously wealthy? There's a deed that's supposed to exist that would give them ownership of hundreds of acres of land in Maine, and they can't find the deed. So part of the mystery of the book is looking for the deed that might make them become rich again. Some of the themes are is the fact that you have class warfare in the book. You have the upper class, the Pynchons, and the lower class, the Malls. And the irony is that at this point in the book, Hepzibah is now, although she's part of the Pynchon family, having to sell out of her house in order to, like a middle class person, in order to survive. Another theme of the book is wizards and mesmerism. The whole story is based on the witch trials of 1692 and the curse that Matthew Mall placed on Colonel Pynchon, and then you have this curse that seems to show up every generation. You have the theme of the haunting of the house, the fact that the Colonel's picture is still there, and that there's references to ghosts, and you have this strange power that the Malls have that you'll see later in the book, but also Phoebe Pynchon, when she shows up, she's described in terms almost like being a magician or something. Her personality is so charming and wonderful that she almost brings a new spell on the house. The whole family, the theme of degeneration, the whole family's been cursed, and the house is cursed, and things like the water is now undrinkable. The chickens that live in the backyard are degenerate. They're smaller than they were 200 years earlier. This new breed is smaller. Another theme is the difference or the disparity between appearance and reality. Because of her name, Hepzibah, people would have thought she would have been wealthy, but she's not. She's poor. Another aspect of that theme is that she's also not what she appears to be, in that she scowls and people think she's just very angry and upset. but she's nearsighted. In fact, she's a very gentle, kind woman. So she's not what it appears that she is. Her cousin, the judge, is also not what he appears to be. He appears to be, well, he's a politician, so he's very good at pretending to be one thing and being something else. And he seems to be a happy, successful, likable man, but at times in the book, you literally see his face change when something crosses him and he gets angry. So he's not all that he appears to be either. The house is not all it appears to be. It's a big house, and yet it's empty except for these two people that live there. Another theme in the book is the theme of hope. I guess the hope that they would find the deed to the vast amounts of land in Maine, but they can't find it, and that their hope has always been, as is Hepzibah's, that she will be wealthy again. All they need to do is find this land, or this deed to the land. Another example of that is Uncle Venner, who's the old man who lives in the neighborhood, and he's always talking about retiring to his farm. So I'm looking at my notes to see if there's anything else. Of course, the darkness of the house versus the light of Phoebe. She kind of comes in and completely changes things. Oh, and one other aspect of the appearance and reality is that Holgrave, his job, he's a photographer, a daguerreotypist. That was an early form of photography, and it's strange when he takes these pictures. The picture seems to see through the person, the appearance, to the soul. So it almost is as if the picture reveals the true nature of the person behind it. That could also be said about the portrait of the colonel, which really does reveal his negative qualities. So I think these are some of the themes of the book, at least to get you started. We need to read chapter 8 through 15 for next Thursday. You have a little over a week to do it, so maybe this will help you get started.